The Duke of York, Andrew, is removed from all titles and duties for his links to the Jeffrey Epstein matter. The Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, is likewise excluded for the same grave breach of trust. The monarchy will advance under William and Catherine with renewed integrity.
You know what they say about Westminster? Walk through those old streets long enough, especially when the cameras are off and the whispers finally start, and you realize one truth real quick. Nothing in Britain ever falls apart overnight. Not governments, not reputations, and definitely not the monarchy. It crumbles slowly, quietly, like cracks in an old palace wall that no one notices until half the ceiling is gone.
It's now a matter of when, not if, he strips Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their royal titles.
Everything breaks in slow motion. A tiny rumor, a strange look, a single whisper that travels from one hallway to another until, boom, the whole royal ceiling comes crashing down. And suddenly, everyone pretends they're shocked, even though the warning signs were screaming for months.
Wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. Let them go off and be, celebrities, that's fine. But don't do it in the name of our royal family.
And that's exactly how the latest royal disaster hit. The meltdown of the House of Windsor followed that old familiar pattern, quiet whispers turning into a public storm.
Prince Harry, Meghan Markle and their children could be set to lose their royal titles.
The chaos didn't start with some impulsive royal decree. Oh no, people only saw the headline. The royal order that stripped two of the most famous family members of their royal titles, and thought, oh, the king must have woken up, sipped his Earl Grey, and said, that's it, I'm done with their nonsense.
William, let me be clear, does not believe his father, the cancer-stricken king, has gone far enough. He thinks Andrew should not even be a prince. He certainly should not be in the United Kingdom. Exile is the only answer. But the problem is that requires an act of parliament. That act of parliament, I am told, William also intends to use to finally jettison the Sussexes.
But anyone who knows the palace whispers, the aides who've seen what really simmers behind those gold doors, knows this truth. It wasn't sudden. It wasn't random. It's been boiling for years, and now, finally, the pot overflowed. Royal decisions never come out of nowhere. They're years of frustration, silent fights, and grudges hidden under fancy smiles. Because in today's world, not even a crown can cover up a ruined reputation. And that's exactly how we ended up here, watching this royal house tremble. Prince Andrew, once the powerful Duke of York, now just Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, dragging his shadow like a stain that refuses to fade. Meghan Markle, no longer the Duchess of Sussex, just another chapter closed under what the palace politely called serious breaches of trust. The HRH titles? Gone. Because in the royal world, HRH isn't about money, it's about honor. And when that's gone, you're nothing but a name in the news. Two totally different scandals, two totally different people, but both pushed out of that golden circle like unwanted guests. You're either with us or you're not. That's the unspoken royal rule. Even insiders whisper, William knew the monarchy couldn't keep looking weak. Andrew, Fergie, Harry, Meghan, all dragging the brand down. He wanted a clean cut, a royal reset. But to understand why this hit so hard, you have to see the bigger picture. A monarchy desperate to stay relevant in a world that's tired of crowns and stiff balcony waves. People don't care about tradition anymore. They care about truth. And the truth inside the palace isn't pretty. For years, everything moved like clockwork. King Charles kept things steady, fading quietly into the background while William and Catherine waited for their turn, patient and polished. Meghan, though, oh, she was the wild card. Glamorous, bold, unpredictable. But when it came to work, people started whispering. Was she in it for duty or the spotlight? The monarchy's just there, people said, like an old museum no one visits, but everyone insists on preserving. But 2025 changed everything. That was the year the buried secrets came crawling out of the royal vault. It started small. Some fresh whispers in the Epstein papers, gossip bouncing around Westminster tea rooms. Did you see those new emails? Something about Andrew? At first, it was harmless chatter, the kind of talk that floats for a few days and disappears. But this time, it didn't fade. It grew louder and uglier. By autumn, it wasn't gossip anymore. It was scandal. New documents, new names, whispers turning into alarms. The kind of evidence that doesn't hit headlines yet, but spreads through the palace faster than wildfire. The one name no one expected to hear? Meghan Markle. At first, everyone thought it was nonsense, but then came the twist. Meghan's name appearing in the same breath as Epstein's network. Not accused, not guilty, but connected just enough to make the palace flinch. Her name on guest lists, a gala here, a networking dinner there, a mysterious charity event that suddenly didn't look so harmless. It was enough to send chills through Buckingham's marble halls. You know how the palace works. Being close to the smoke is treated like lighting the fire yourself. And Meghan, already weighed down by years of drama, complaints, and Netflix confessions, had no goodwill left to save her. One official whispered, "peripheral links." Such a harmless phrase, but in royal language, it means, you're done. The palace had reached its limit. Enough of the tears, enough of the interviews, enough of the California spin. This wasn't Hollywood anymore. No rebranding, no publicist, no glittering PR could fix this one. In royal circles, reputation is currency, and Meghan's was running on fumes. Staff started whispering that King Charles had been pushed into a corner. Some said he was weak, that he wanted Andrew to step back voluntarily. Others said William was furious, calling for a full royal purge. By early November, even journalists were talking like something big was about to explode. The truth? Charles might be king by crown, but William has quietly become king by control. Palace staff say he's been leading the fight to protect the firm. The constant feuds, the interviews, the Netflix specials, it all pushed him to his breaking point. The circus has to stop, one aide said he muttered under his breath. That's not gossip, that's exhaustion. But when Meghan's name started floating around the Epstein papers, that was it, the final straw. The palace could handle the drama, but not the dirt. Especially not that kind of dirt. Charles had to act fast or risk the monarchy's entire moral image. One insider even joked, "You can't claim to be a symbol of integrity when you're linked, no matter how loosely, to Epstein's guest list." That's how fragile it all is. One bad connection and the whole crown wobbles. The moment Charles read the statement, people realized something deeper was happening. It wasn't just punishment, it was a handover. William and Catherine's faces were everywhere. Calm, clean, controlled. The next generation rising quietly as the old guard faded. Insiders call it the transition. Not a coronation, not an abdication, just a careful shift in power. Charles knew what he was doing. This was about saving the monarchy from itself. And who better to represent a new, scandal-free era than William and Kate, the golden couple? The press ate it up. Finally, the headline screamed, a monarchy that acts. But Meghan wasn't staying quiet. Oh no. When her title disappeared from palace papers, the reaction in California was volcanic. Friends say she felt betrayed, humiliated, blindsided. She wasn't just angry, she was gearing up for war. Reports spread like wildfire. Meghan Markle threatening to sue the British royal family and even Prince William himself if her titles weren't reinstated. The Duchess ready to fight. Meanwhile, inside Buckingham, the relief was almost palpable. A necessary amputation, one advisor whispered, cold but honest. The feeling was that the palace had finally cut out its infection. Years of embarrassment, emotional damage, family warfare, all excised in one royal announcement. Still, the cost was high. Publicly, the palace looked united. Privately, it was a battlefield of whispers. William no longer recognizes his brother, one source said. He looks at Harry and doesn't even see the same person anymore. That line spread like wildfire through the tabloids, because it wasn't just the monarchy breaking, it was bloodlines fracturing, permanently. Harry's friends say he's furious, convinced William's behind the entire operation. But William's people insist he's protecting the crown, not plotting revenge. The truth, as always, sits somewhere in the gray. But one thing's clear, the power has shifted. Charles may be king in name, but William's the one steering the throne. Even the most cynical political editors noticed. This feels like a royal coup, one muttered. And maybe it was. A quiet, polite, centuries-old power grab wrapped in ceremony. And here's the twist. The British public loved it. Overnight, approval ratings for the royal family ticked up by 4 points. Commonwealth countries that had been flirting with ditching the monarchy, suddenly, they were back to talking partnerships and legacy. Even younger Brits, who usually roll their eyes at anything royal, softened. At least someone's doing something, they said. But if the palace thought this cleanup would end the chaos, they underestimated Meghan Markle. California has sunshine, lawyers, and the world's best PR teams, and Meghan knows how to use all three. She won't go quietly, one royal commentator said. She never does. And sure enough, her legal threats were just the beginning. The British press went into a frenzy. Every headline screamed betrayal, revenge, shock. Meanwhile, palace staff stayed tight-lipped, terrified of saying one wrong word that could trigger another lawsuit. One insider described the mood perfectly. It's relief mixed with fear. Like we've removed the problem, but we're waiting for it to come back louder. And maybe they're right. Because even though Buckingham finally reclaimed control in this family never lasts long. Scandal always finds a way back. The public couldn't get enough. TV panels filled with royal experts shouting over each other, tabloids printing speculative nonsense, and the internet turning every frame of Meghan's past appearances into proof. Yet somewhere beneath all the chaos was a quieter story. A monarchy trying to reinvent itself before the world stops caring completely. William and Catherine became the face of that rebirth. She, elegant and resilient, having fought her own silent battle with illness. He, the steady soldier turned family man, trying to restore dignity to a dynasty constantly tripping over itself. Together, they became the crown's insurance policy, the last pieces of public trust holding the whole thing up. Still, even their polished calm can't hide the cracks forming underneath. Britain's struggling with a cost of living crisis. The younger generation sees inherited privilege as outdated. Commonwealth nations are slipping away one by one. The press is ruthless, feeding on royal misery for clicks. King Charles is turning a blind eye, but King William won't, a palace source said bluntly. That single line said everything. The monarchy is evolving into something colder, stricter, survival mode. And Meghan? She's the storm hovering just beyond the palace gates. She believes she's being targeted. One California friend told the press. She feels betrayed by the family she married into and discarded by the country she tried to serve. Inside Britain, the reactions were split. Some say the king's move was justice, finally holding everyone to the same standard. Others whisper it was hypocrisy, punishing Meghan while protecting others. But gossip doesn't care about fairness. It feeds on drama, and this family provides endless supply. The whispers don't stop there. Some MPs hint that this decision was less about moral clarity and more about strategy. The monarchy needed a sacrifice, one said quietly. Andrew was expected. Meghan was useful. A brutal statement, but one that rings true. Because in royal history, scandal always requires an offering. And when the announcement came, the balance shifted instantly. William and Catherine rose, Harry and Meghan fell. The monarchy, bloodied but breathing, walked away with its head still high. For now. But what's next? That's the question echoing through London's old corridors. Has Charles truly cleaned house, or has he just delayed the next explosion? Can William reshape the monarchy for a modern world, or will the same old palace walls crack all over again once the headlines fade? Because let's be honest, the monarchy has done this dance before. A scandal breaks, a royal gets removed, the public claps, and life moves on until the next disaster. But this time feels different. The stakes are higher, the divisions deeper, and Meghan Markle isn't the type to disappear quietly. California will have its say, one gossip columnist teased, smirking on live TV. And if Meghan's past is any hint, that's not a threat, it's a promise. The palace may think it's regained control, but reputation is fragile, and all it takes is one interview, one statement, one tearful moment on camera to flip the narrative again. For now, Buckingham's halls are calm, but everyone inside knows it's only temporary. They've silenced two names, rebuilt their image, and placed their hopes on William and Catherine. But the world outside the palace walls has changed. People aren't dazzled by crowns anymore. They want honesty. So maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the end of a royal scandal. Maybe it was the beginning of a reckoning, one that forces the monarchy to finally face what it truly is. Not a symbol of perfection, but a family constantly fighting to stay relevant in a world that's moved on. Because at the end of the day, this story isn't just about Andrew or Meghan losing their titles. It's about the royal family losing something far more precious, the unquestioned trust of their people. And if there's one thing history has taught us, it's that when the palace loses the public, no crown, no title, no carefully written statement can save it. Statement can save it. Statement can